Well, the inspiration for this movie has absolutely nothing to do with me. It's Baruch Perlos. He takes everybody on a ride. Sometimes it's a physical ride on a plane or on a helicopter or through a movie. This is what Baruch does. He takes everybody on a ride. And sometimes it's one person at a time, and sometimes it's a whole crew and cast and everybody. Yeah, that's Baruch. But this was a good ride. I really, really enjoyed this movie, the filming from the beginning till the end, and actually every single time I watch this movie, I love it all over again. This, you just watched this movie. You're asking me. Yeah, it takes you on such a ride, starting from. Let me explain to you. The ride from this movie is basically. Imagine you have every ride is a good and bad. Every story ride has a good and bad, right? So you start with a father being the good and the son being the kind of bad, and then when the father goes into the hospital, the father turns into this very, very good, right? He's the nebuch, so to speak, and the son is doing tshuva, basically. He's kind of like, yeah. So now you have two positives, negatives and positives, and then you turn the positives into negatives, and then finally you're like so comfortable that the son is like such a good kid already, and that's it. And the hospital people are like bad people, and everybody's comfortable with the whole storyline. That's it. Then Yankee just jumps in with a gun into the hospital. Now everything turns over again, and he becomes the negative, and the negatives, which were the hospital people, turn into the positives now because they're the. Forget you get the idea. That's one ride that was a really cool ride to ride along, from the filming, the locations, and being in the hospital and the whole situation, and the siyata d'shmaya. We also had our own positives and negatives, like the hospital. Well, you could go to the hospital, can't go to the hospital. It is COVID. Did show up in hospital or didn't show up? Can we have this room at the hospital? Can we have the floor in the hospital? Okay, we're gonna get the police department, not the police department, helicopters, SWAT teams, rooftops. I don't know. Okay, every day was another ride. It was another adventure. Every phone call. Okay, did you hear something from the police department? Can we get the police department? Yes or not? Okay, we're supposed to film tomorrow. Okay, tomorrow we're filming. Did we get an okay from the hospital? Can we get the floor? No, 1 second. Another patient came in, another foot and another toe hanging. I have no idea. I don't know what will be tomorrow, but we're filming tomorrow. The question is, can we? That's the question, basically. It was everything was a major adventure and an excitement, and every step was just so exciting because we had no idea how it will work out. It was a lot of fun. Believe you me. If you don't trust me, what you wouldn't trust me? Stop it. Come on, trust me. My responsibility as a cinematographer is to bring out the emotions from the actors, that the audience should understand visually what's going on, what the actor is showing, and what the actor is not showing, even what's going on inside, within the actor's emotions. People should understand. For example, one simple example, the most obvious example would be the Krishma scene, when he put on film for the first time, his emotions, what's going on there. His whole life is changing around now. He's going from his past, and he's starting from fresh, starting up, and he's starting to daven again, putting on tefillin, and he puts on, and when he says Krishma, you see his tear dripping down. You have this close-up shot of the tear, and everybody had these like butterflies that and of excitement and emotion and everything together. because everybody understood what he's going through. That's only one example. That's a sad, emotional example. But if you go to the SWAT team, if the police department, and the sniper scene, there's so much other emotions that or actions that people have to get and understand what's going on. This is not just like police coming to investigate some robbery that somebody broke up a pushkin shul. This is like a real situation. This is a hostage situation in a hospital. So there's so much going on from the running and taking over the hospital, FBI, the SWAT team arriving, running into the hospital, the cushion tape, everything. There's so. For example, the sniper. For the sniper scene is a good example, because when the sniper went onto the rooftop, I noticed that in the camera you don't see the lights so well. They're not so visible because they were closer to the building. So I had to redirect the whole police department and all the cars to go further away from the building. So when I have the angle of the sniper, you should see the lights further back. So again, technically I could have just taken this shot and that's it, but you wouldn't get the emotion, you wouldn't get the feel of what's going on in front of the hospital because the lights weren't so visible. I have to capture the scene and bring it to you as a story. Whether it's a huge scene with the SWAT and police and a whole thing going on, and I have to capture all that, so you should grasp the idea of what's going on. Or it could be just like Yankee running on the train and an individual story of one actor and get his emotions, getting off the train, jumping off the train, and almost breaking his head on the tracks, and then trying to find his phone and calling his friend. Now, I love that scene, by the way. Or the uncle scene. You have this not so pleasant uncle, which almost everybody has, unfortunately. It's such a typical uncle. Such a typical uncle. Baruch Hashem, I don't have such an uncle. I love my uncles.
But just the statement, Gershi is a very nice guy.
Yeah, Gershi is a very, very nice guy, a good friend, a good heart, and a good actor. So yes, and so when you get to the uncle scene, you have this nasty-ish uncle that's kicking out a nephew that is in dire need of his help. Of course, some are more difficult, like running with the SWAT team and running after the chase scene wasn't so easy to get the Yankee and the officer, Zalman Berger, running after one another. Like that was, we had to run for quite a few blocks, and then with the traffic and stuff, I had to make sure they're not getting hit on the 9. So that was it was a lot of action, a lot of running, jumping over gates, jumping over stuff, making sure everything is done right. And then there are more simpler scenes, for like a Yankee walking on the street between a dozen of kids, which kudos to the kids for not looking at the camera. Thank you guys. Another big part of the telling the story is the type of shots that we do with the camera. You can't just put down a camera on a tripod and tell a story, because that's all you do by interviews. There are shots that are supposed to be more smoother. Let's say I use a gimbal to smooth the shot, or some shots we use drone or shaky cam, of course, we use all the action shots. It brings out the story much more than just the shots. That's the most important. So this was about storytelling, but there are so much from my end which I enjoyed it a lot. Of course, besides the comedy part, which was hilarious, is Chaim Perlowitz is a discontinued item. There's only one of him, and that's it. He's Chaim. But generally, first of all, being with the staff and the cast and crew is just a lot of fun. Well, not just fun, like it's enjoyment. It's inner enjoyment. It's you feel this comfort of being together, and everybody is there for each other. And I know everybody says the same thing, but we are family. That I know everybody says it, but that's the fact. We're a family. That's how it is. I love being with Yaakov Berger. Yosef Ginniger is such a pleasure to be with. I'm so happy Yitzi got involved, and he really added to the family. Now we have like this big brother of the family. He's just a big brother. It's just when we go out for supper, you want to join. It's good food. I'm talking about, but the environment is also amazing. Yeah, but food is also good. Very good, usually. But yes, and I can't mention everybody's name, but Baruch Hashem, the staff and crew we picked, we got together. Mamashiyata Deshmaya. I feel blessed to be part of it. Speaking about cast and crew, I feel that I really have to mention Zalman Berger. Zalman Berger really helped out with day-to-day operations that it should just go much smoother. There's so many technical things that could go wrong or off schedule or whatever. There's so much involved in such a production that Zalman really brought a lot together to make it happen. So thank you, Zalman. I'm sure you're going to hear this. If not, I'm going to have to send it to you privately. And generally, the whole cast and crew, I'm so happy I got Usher Vidin involved. Gershi was a pleasure to have on set. Two good guys, and everybody. Yaakov Prupas, again. Yeah. Well, Yaakov Prupas is the grandfather of Baruch Perlowitz Productions. He is, if you see Baruch Perlowitz Productions, Yaakov Prupas is there. It has to. I hope it continues on forever and ever and ever, for a million more productions. And yeah, he's just such a good, and he's a Muncie guy. Not only, okay, Muncie guy. Yeah, just everybody's such a, as I said, I don't have to say it again, but I'll say it. It's a great, great team, Baruch Hashem. Baruch Hashem. During production, I get to see the shots we take and the development, and of course we know the storyline, and we know exactly what's happening or what's gonna happen, what happened. We know exactly what we're doing. But when we finally finished the whole production and we came together, the whole cast and crew, to the premiere to watch the movie for the very, very first time. I've never seen it before, not even a part of it. I've only seen the shots and sent it to the editor. I've never seen the movie, but the first time I've seen the movie was at the premiere. And again, I had an idea in my head how it's going to look like, because I've seen it. I've seen the whole production, right? But when you see the whole production as a whole, and you just see the outcome, it blew me away. Like, unbelievable. To see the level of imagination Baruch Perlowitz had while filming, like as the actual director, I did only the filming. He directed it, and he had the clear vision exactly how everything is supposed to look like. And I had never imagined anything like this. I imagined that the storyline, yeah, of course, sounded amazing and it looked amazing, but it took me over. It really took me over, and I'm so glad to have Baruch as a director, and I could help him out with his vision that he has. I'm blessed to be a part of it, and I'm really thankful for Baruch for giving me the opportunity, and I'm looking forward to many more. And should I talk about Desperate Measures 2 already? Just wait and see.